culinary world. I appreciate good food. I love good food. I appreciate a good kitchen. My kitchen is immaculate. I just don't use it.
Hi, welcome to this edition of On Tap, presented by FCSI The Americas. I'm Wade Kaler, Executive Director. On Tap this week is another newer member to FCSI who I look forward to getting to know a little bit better. Please welcome Associate Design Project Manager with Real Food Hospitality, Strategy and Design, Miss Jessica Gates. Hey, Jessica, welcome to the show.
Hi, Wade. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. I'm excited you're going to be a part of the show. People don't realize we just had NAFM not too long ago. Got a chance to meet you there, and Penny from my staff met you there, and you were so much fun to talk to that we're like, we got to get her on the show as soon as we can. So I'm glad you were able to jump right onto it. Absolutely.
Yeah, and vice versa. It's been a lot of names over a lot of years, so getting to see some faces was very exciting.
It's season 5, which is when we first started doing this, we didn't know whether or not we'd make it past season 1. So anything we get past season 1 was a bonus, and now we're in season 5 is kind of overwhelming, but yet so much fun, and I still get a lot of enjoyment out of doing these episodes, getting to talk to people like yourself that I don't really know, as well as other people that I've known for a long time, but I find out new things about them through these things and these certain questions or whatever that surprise me even from time to time.
Totally.
Well, as you know, by watching any episodes in the past, we like to talk about you. It's all about you and what you do for a living and where you got your start and stuff. So to get us started today with getting to know Jessica Gates, tell us a little bit about your background, how you got your start in food service industry and consulting world, and then we'll dive into that a little deeper.
Yeah, sounds great. So, like I think a lot of people in this industry, I kind of ended up here by accident. There were a lot of kind of different channels that I had explored in my life that resonated with me, but weren't the end all be all. And then kind of stumbled upon an opportunity with Real Food, who I've been with since kind of my start in this industry. And it kind of blew my mind that all of these things that I was interested in, but never really fully kind of satisfied my full kind of working brain, were able to kind of converge into this really niche industry. It's one thing I think is fascinating about design that people don't consider. You look around, every single thing around me that I can see within my view was designed by somebody. And we think of design as like art or a building or just something as more simplistic like that. And I just think it's fascinating that design is everywhere around us. And the idea that if you're interested in design and a particular kind of segment of the universe, that design doesn't just exist there inherently. So that was kind of an interesting thing to discover.
I think it's interesting. You think design is everywhere. You've never seen my office, which is certainly not designed by anything.
Hey, it could be bad design, but it's design.
There you go. Thank you. So tell us a little bit, what are your responsibilities and what are your segments and things that you work on for Real Food?
Totally. So I started off as a designer. My background was actually in architecture. I went to school in St. Louis and studied architecture there. Learned pretty quickly that I was in too deep to not get the degree, but not wanting to be an architect for the rest of my life. And I had done a lot of like events and things on the side. So I decided to kind of try my hand at hospitality, kind of the front lines in the restaurants and the hotels, things like that. And I loved the people interaction and really the operations was the thing that was most kind of fascinating to me. The idea that these places that we go just to have a fun time are complete machines. There's so much going on in the back of the house, and that, the server who's a little bit frustrated with me isn't just frustrated because they're having a bad day. It's because the this is next to the this is next to the this, and it should all just be a completely different configuration. And the idea that so much of our personal interactions are based off of this design in a way that is just like not able to be gauged on kind of by the typical mind. So as a designer, it was really exciting for me to be able to pull my architecture background, but also really leverage the industry experience that I had had, being able to look at these designs and not only be able to say, this works spatially, this will work from an MEP point of view, but also that this is going to operate well. And if I were someone that was working in this restaurant, I would stay. because retention is also a huge issue, and there are definitely people who I've seen move in and out of restaurants because they're like, this place is frustrating, and it's not the management, and it's not any of the choices that anyone's making on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
It's historical choices made about how this place was designed, and I just can't deal with it.
Is there is there any certain segments or niches that you work within, or do you kind of touch anything that has to do with food service?
Pretty much anything. We're really learners at Real Food, which I really enjoy.
Okay.
So there's almost never a project that comes across kind of our under our umbrella that we wouldn't be interested in trying and learning about.
Yeah.
Um,
Nice.
so I'd say when I started about 4 years ago, um, we were just being acquired by Troon, which is a golf management company. So
Okay.
we've gotten much more into the golf club segment, that
Yeah.
segment. But we used to be more kind of restaurant specific, but we also acquired um, uh, food service, excuse me, yes, food service design associates, which is kind of focused in the healthcare and school and institutions bracket as well. So it's been exciting over the
Nice.
last couple of years to kind of branch out of the mom and pops, which we still do and we still love to do,
Yeah.
but into more of these institutions and more of these clubs, and also really kind of expanding our reach beyond New England.
Yeah. Would you are you required to be a golfing expert or a golfing pro or anything like that to work for Tron?
Not at all. Whenever anyone asks me if I golf, my canned answer is no, but I'm great at drinking outside during the day, which is,
Absolutely.
as far as I'm concerned, exactly what golf is. So
It's
I'll man the
100%.
golf cart, whatever.
Well, either the golf cart or just on the patio outside the golf course clubhouse or whatever.
Heckling.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Um
Exactly.
so as a designer, as you said, you when you're sitting somewhere, you see the design everywhere. As an architecture background, how hard is it for you to go into a restaurant now and actually just relax and have a dinner?
Such a good question. I really have fun in restaurants. It's not even a critical like point of view that I go in with. It's an exciting investigative point of view, because it's
Yeah.
almost like if you're a writer, every book you read is another exciting example of like what the opportunities are within the world of writing, and that's how I feel
Right.
about restaurants. So everyone in my friend group and my family is well aware that within the first 1 minute of entering a restaurant, they will physically lose me. I will escape. And I'll find them eventually, but I gunned it for the kitchen. I gunned it for the bar. I went right to where the stainless steel is, and I started asking annoying questions to the first person I could get my hands on.
So you're one of the I don't you've probably heard me say this story before in other episodes, but when I take groups of consultants out for dinner, whether it be
Yeah.
board members or conference planning, whatever, inevitably I will warn people in advance that whatever restaurant we're going to, they will walk in your kitchen and
Oh, yeah,
uninvited walk into your kitchen,
absolutely.
just fair warn. So now I know that the more you get involved with FCSI, the more I'm going to have the watchful eye that where Jessica go when we walk into the restaurant. So
Oh, absolutely. I can be sneaky. I'm not barreling my way through. All of a sudden, I'm
okay.
working your dish pit, and you're like, "Who is that girl?"
Well, they probably wouldn't care about that. They probably would
Right,
welcome
they'd be
that
like, "Is
part,
she
but
new? She's doing a
yeah,
fine job, whatever."
yeah. Well, if you're gonna save the association money, I'll just go let you do that too. By the way, so
Sure.
we're gonna wash the dishes and get us a free meal. I mean, it's the old
I love it.
adage
A quick
with
stage.
kids. Um, it's interesting. You come from St. Louis as well. So you're. Did you grow up in the Midwest as well?
No, grew up in Boston. That's where I live now.
Okay.
That's where I work now, but went out
Okay.
for Washington University in St.
Yep.
Louis is where I attended
Yeah.
school. So went out there for that and then stayed for a couple of years. So I really love the
Okay.
Midwest. It taught me how to say ma'am and sir and y'all, and be a little bit more patient and polite, but also just meeting really, really different kinds of people and demographics of people. There's something about the Midwest. It ends up being this kind of convergence points of a lot of different areas within the
Yeah.
US, whereas some of these kind of coastal areas I feel like end up being a little bit more insular. So it's just an exciting way to kind of experience the world in a different way. But of course my Yankee roots pulled me on
Yeah.
back eventually.
Well, it's interesting. I think also I'm I don't know if I'd call it a victim of St. Louis or not, but
It's
you
not
kind of
far
had the
off.
same experience as what I did. I went to school and I graduated high school. I grew up in Illinois, but I graduated high
Mhm.
school, went to St. Louis, and I was going to be a pharmacist.
Hmm.
So, and I went down to school in St. Louis and realized pretty quickly I don't want to be a pharmacist.
Hmm.
Best decision I ever made. Although
Hmm.
I won't get into it, but not quite just my decision on that one. But nonetheless, St. Louis, you said the same thing. You get there and you think you know what you're going to do, and when you're getting into it, you realize I probably don't want to go all the way into this. So,
Hmm.
and you're about the third or fourth person I know now that went to school in St. Louis for one thing and came out of St. Louis with a completely different
That's
work
so
ethic
funny.
and a work background. So
Hmm.
I don't know what it is about that city, but it is the Midwest is definitely a different. I travel quite a bit, the coast and everything else. You do get a little bit of everybody, and
Hmm.
culture wise, in good and bad in the Midwest compared to you don't have the typical. I know there is a typical Midwestern stereotype, but really there isn't. I mean,
There
there's a
really isn't, especially
there's a
in the cities
Chicago
of the
one,
Midwest.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's a Chicago. There's also East Coast, West Coast. There's typical, but I don't know the Midwestern other than we're not all rednecks and we're not all uh, I don't know mean people, I guess, and we're not
Yeah.
Canadian either, where we're not super nice to everybody. So. Um,
Totally.
so of all the when you're working on a new project, getting ready to design something, what's your method of madness as far as
Mm.
design go? Are you a sketch it out on paper first? Are you a color coded drawing person? Are you straight to the computer now? And what is your method?
Yeah, I would say I'm a Revit fiend. I love
Okay.
love working in Revit. It's kind of the Autodesk product that's has
Yep.
more 3D capabilities than Desk, AutoCAD, etc.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the way that my brain works is just similar to Revit, and so it's kind of nice to just be able to kind of take my brain outside of my head and put it on a screen and be able to kind of work with it that way. So kind of once you get the momentum within Revit, it just moves so much more quickly than hand drawing. But every once in a while, I'll absolutely print something out, get some trace paper out, and just really mess around because there's something about working on a computer where there is some amount of a record of what you're doing. Whereas
Right.
there's something about sketch paper where it's like if I draw something stupid, I crumple it up and I just throw it in the trash and I can just start fresh.
Yeah.
But I love that question because we actually have a new kind of designer in our organization, and I've been walking him through schematics for a project right now. And it's been really interesting to try to quantify what I'm doing and qualify what I'm doing because it's just happening in my head. And I've never
Yeah.
really taken the step back to say, like, why am I doing this? Or, like, what is the order of events? And so it's been an interesting exercise, both, you know, as an onboarding practice and exercise,
Right.
but also for me to just audit my own process and decide what it is that I'm prioritizing and what it is that maybe is not kind of part of the top set of priorities in terms of
Right.
my design process that I might want to start paying more attention to.
Yeah. That self reflection of why do I do what I do?
Hmm.
Which is always very healthy too. And it does take something like onboarding or somebody that innocently asks the question as to why do I have to do it that way? They don't mean
Hmm.
anything by it. There's nothing malicious behind it. And then you have to go and think like, well, why do I make somebody do that? Or why do I do it
Exactly.
that way? And then potentially you learn either a new way to do it or it justifies in your own head why I've been doing this crazy way of doing it.
Exactly.
It does make sense. So
I think it's a win-win. Exactly.
yeah, if you can explain it to somebody, then it probably makes sense. But if you
Hmm.
can't really explain it easily to somebody else, it's probably your own head. Like it's
Yeah.
probably it's not necessarily a bad thing either, but it just means it's
No,
in your own head.
exactly. That's why I think it's kind of a win-win. If I was kind of missing anything in terms of my process, I wouldn't have known that until it was
Yeah,
pointed out by that person or until I kind of dug into that process and all the different steps of it. So having the
right.
opportunity to realize what I'm doing makes no sense is I welcome it.
Yeah. Is there a favorite project you've worked on that you're most proud of, or
Hmm.
whether it's your first one, your last one, whether it's one in the middle? Is there one that sticks out more than other?
Yeah, no, I love that question. There are definitely two that come to mind. One of them is a little ice cream shop in my hometown. It's called Truly's in Wellesley,
Nice.
Massachusetts. It opened last week, and I went there for the first time when I
Wow.
was like 4 years old. So this was such a passion project for me when this came across our office. I almost like Black Friday pushed every other human being out of the way, and I was like, this is my project, and I'm doing it. I just had to do it, and it was so exciting. Like I felt like such a dork, but I'm just like, oh my God, the Truly's owner. And it's like, he's just a nice man who like runs a business. And to me, he's
Yeah.
such a local celebrity. So many of
Yeah.
my friends worked there, et cetera. And I think it really resonated with them that like their brand was so personally important to me and that I knew it
Yeah.
very, very well. So there were little
Yeah.
things like, we're talking with the architect and they're like, we should switch these doors. And I'm like, the line goes the other way down the street. And that's something I would only have known because I've been there 10,000
Right.
times. And so that was very exciting. And they recently opened and they were a little bit, I think, concerned that the town, because they had been open in the same space for a very, very long time, they were a little concerned that people might be a little frustrated or sad. But so the stakes felt pretty high. We felt we
Yeah.
really had to nail it in order for people to not be disappointed that that kind of original shop was no longer there. And the feedback has been fantastic. The place looks absolutely incredible. The teams that were involved coordinated together really, really well, which is the
Yeah.
ideal for this industry. So that was a very exciting one.
Well, and they benefit significantly from you taking over that project. Even if you did Black Friday elbow somebody out of the way to get it, it because you bring not only the historical background of your own love and for it, but they also then know that they've got somebody that's passionate about the brand that's not going to steer them to do something wrong. Because
Exactly.
you said there's a lot riding on it for them. I'm sure in your own mind there was a lot riding on it with you, probably more pressure on yourself than you even realized,
Yeah.
because you knew you couldn't screw up this brand either, and you had to
Hmm.
make sure that it was successful. And so you almost were like a little bit of an owner right there when you're working with
Mm,
them, because that brand meant something to you. It wasn't just an
exactly.
XYZ ice cream shop that you don't know anybody at. So I think
Hmm.
that's really cool. And not many
Totally.
people get that opportunity to go back and be able to do something from their hometown.
Exactly. That's what felt so exciting about it to me. Like I couldn't have picked a more exciting and, kind of passion-filled project for myself if I
Yeah.
had thought about it. And so that was super cool. And I still have family that lives in the town right down the street. So you're right. I think like without even recognizing it, I think the stakes for myself were very high. I'm even imagining like my next high school reunion, a bunch of people like beating me up because I messed up Truly's. Like that would maybe happen. So definitely there were some stakes there.
Or your family member that goes to the new place going, "What did you do, Jessica? New place
Exactly.
stinks. Like it.
We
What
thought you were
happened
good
here?"
at your
So,
job and now this.
yeah. You said you're a professional. So yeah. What's one thing about Jessica Gates that nobody would ever be able to guess?
Hmm, that's an interesting question.
Could be a hobby. Could be a
I
little
totally
known
no, I thought
fact or
of
whatever.
one. I'm a terrible cook. Terrible cook, which cracks me up because I spent all day like telling people how to run their kitchens. Meanwhile, I'm like eating Kraft mac and cheese that's shaped like unicorns for dinner every night. Like it's very ironic the level of the lack of decorum that I have in my own kind of culinary world. I appreciate good food. I love good food. I appreciate a good kitchen. My kitchen is immaculate. I just don't use it. So
Yeah,
I hope
we
that doesn't totally discredit me from the advice I'm giving. I'm one of those coaches where it's like I can't actually play the sport, but I'm going to tell everybody else how to do it. But
yeah, no, I agree. We just remodeled our kitchen in my home, and I put in a induction cooktop,
mm,
and it looks amazing. I'm sure it works great, but I'm not a cook, so
no,
it's like it looks great. It'll be great for the resale value someday down the road, but for
exactly.
me, it's
It's
like,
beautiful. We buy
yeah,
art for the home all the time. Why can't some of
right,
these things just be art?
exactly.
I like
But
to look at it.
I do, to your point, I do get to go. I'm fortunate enough to get to go out to eat a lot. I
Hmm.
get to see a lot of nice restaurants and eat a lot of great meals. I can appreciate everything, and I've got friends that are amazing chefs, and
Hmm.
I so appreciate what they can do in creativity wise in the kitchen, where they can just grab a bunch of stuff, throw it together, and it tastes great.
Exactly.
If I did that,
Exactly.
trust me, nobody's eating.
No, I would get halfway through, have like a panic attack, and have to remove myself from like the entire physical space that I'm in.
Oh no, see, my problem would be I'd have the ego that I could finish it and
Oh,
somehow
I
it'd be
love it.
okay. And then I get to the end of it, and mine would be one of those where it just goes into the bath. You go in the garbage can when you go
Totally.
out to eat. So that would be me at
Totally.
the end.
One of my
Huh.
favorite like TV show anecdotes is one like they're cops and they find this like recipe from an old criminal, and make the recipe. And it turns out that the quantities were a phone number and that was like a code. But the person was such a bad cook that it didn't occur to her that 7 cups of sugar and like 1 pound of flour made no sense for a recipe. And so the thing that she made was absolutely foul. And then
That would be
but
me.
that's how they cracked the code, because they were like,
Yeah.
there's no way that these quantities were real. This has to be a
Yeah.
code. And it was a phone
That would
number.
completely be me right there.
Me too.
It
Me too. I'm
it's
like,
what
I
it
followed
says
the
I need to do.
recipe.
HelloFresh says I need to do exactly like this, so
The
that's what I'm
power that
supposed
they
to do.
have over us is insane. If they told me
Exactly.
to rub the butter all over my face, I would probably just do it because I don't know better.
Love it. What's one piece of advice you give to somebody, whether they're a recent college graduate or maybe looking to do a career change, that's thinking about becoming a food service consultant? What's one good piece of advice you give somebody?
Um, I mean, I almost feel like my advice is for the person that hasn't found our industry yet. Never stop searching for the right fit. That's kind of my
Good
advice.
one.
And if it's with us, I love that. Come join us, be
Yeah.
passionate with us, design with us, consult with us, all of that. But my life would be very, very different now if I had not found this pocket of the universe. And I don't think that
Nice.
I would feel the same amount of kind of pride and satisfaction and compelled kind of interest in what I do, if I hadn't found kind of this perfect fit. There's so
Yeah.
many pockets in the world of design where the things around you converge with design itself. And
Yeah.
somebody designs those things. Someone designed that chair, somebody designed that television. There's everything. So if you're interested in design, never limit yourself to what you think design can mean and what you think people do and don't design, because I never occurred to me somehow in my whole life that someone designs the layout of the equipment in a kitchen. But now I'm
Yeah.
the one that does it and I love it.
That's awesome. That's a great piece of advice. And I love the fact that I've often wondered why we don't, in hospitality schools, they don't talk about this side of the industry as much.
Hmm.
It's a huge part of the industry, obviously, on the back of the equipment and supplies side and everything else. But you're right. They teach you how to become a general manager of a restaurant or hotel,
Hmm.
whatever. And yeah, maybe you get to go through a new construction, or maybe you get through remodel or whatever, and you get to be proud of that one thing. But as a
Hmm.
consultant, you get to be proud of a multitude of projects that you
Hmm.
design, whether it's an ice cream shop or whether it's a country club or whether it's a restaurant or whether it's, fine dining or college, university, or prison, whatever it might be.
Hmm.
You get to say that was me. I got to do that.
Hmm.
So I think it's very cool. Um, so besides not being a chef, we know that now. If you weren't in the food service industry, what do you think you'd be doing?
I love this question because my answer is so ridiculous. My favorite thing in the world when I was a kid, I wanted this forever. I just wanted to work in a supermarket as the checkout person. There's something about again, there's just the satisfaction of this manual scanning and the bagging. Oh my God, do I want to just organize all of that stuff into a bag? It's not dissimilar to what I do, like organize a bunch of stuff into a space where it shouldn't reasonably fit. But this is a joke in my family all the time. We go to the supermarket and they're like, "Are you sure you don't want to do this?" And I'm like, "Don't tempt me because I still definitely do."
I have so many people that I know personally that are so angry about like the Walmarts of the world and stuff that are going to self bagging and everything, and here you are that
Oh, preach.
is
No,
like
I love it.
loves that self bagging thing.
It's my favorite. Anytime someone's like, go to a cashier, and I'm like, and let them do my job. This is my job today. I want to do this.
Well, at
Very
least
lame, but
you've
it'll
got
always
a.
be an option for me.
I was gonna say
Exactly.
you've always got that option, and it's a great retirement gig for you.
Exactly. In
So,
like 50 years, if you see someone who looks a little bit like me at a market basket, just say, "Hey, Jess, what's going on?"
um, that is fantastic. I don't know that anybody will ever be able to beat that as far as what else you'd be doing. Well, that's all the formal questions I've got for you today. But as you know, we like to end with a little bit of fun questions. And
Let's
for
do it.
this season and the fifth season, I've gone back into the well and picked some of the ones I thought people had the most fun asking or the most fun
Nice.
answering. So we'll start off with the first one is, would you rather be able to teleport anywhere in the world
Hmm.
or be able to read minds?
To read minds?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. In theory, I would want to read minds, but I think I would go insane. I think I would go insane. So I think I'd rather be able to teleport
Yeah.
and just, go to Italy if I want some, you know, fettuccine, or,
Right. I think about how
France
long
if
it
I want
takes to
some frog
travel
legs,
somewhere.
whatever.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You think about how long it takes to travel somewhere. That one, I don't want to know some people's thoughts. Um, I think that would be scary at times. Um,
Exactly.
the next one is: would you rather have all the traffic lights you approach turn green, or
Mm.
never have to stand in line again?
So I do my makeup at stoplights. This is very important to me in my daily process. So I need those red lights. This is critical to my success as a person. So I'm gonna go with the other one on that one. But I will say, on those days when I'm a couple minutes late because every single light turned red, I'm like, I ran out of makeup. I don't even have any more makeup to do. This is too many red lights.
Would you rather fight a duck the size of a horse, or
Hmm.
100 horses the size of a duck?
Oh, that's hilarious. I think I want tiny horses. That just sounds
Yeah.
funny, and I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I
I'm
agree.
not a big duck person. My stepmother has four pet ducks. I call them my step ducks. Um, so I have a lot of ducks in my life. So I think I'll go the horse route.
So this is personal for you. Ooh.
It's a little personal. Yeah,
Yeah. Sorry.
horse-sized duck. That
Sorry.
might have shown up in a nightmare, Wade. Dang.
Yeah.
Just
I didn't mean to trigger you. Like, sorry about that.
kidding.
Um, the one I get the most: toilet
Mm,
paper, over or under the roll?
over,
Okay.
over.
Double dipping when it comes to food, yes or no?
So if you have a fry and you dip one end in, well, like you switch the other end and you never touched the other end and you dip that, totally fine. But if you dip the fry and then the bitten end you dip back in, like, grow up.
Yeah, I agree. Uh, favorite curse word?
Mm, I definitely can't say it.
Oh yeah, you can. We'll bleep it out.
Okay. It's bad. It's really bad.
No, it's not. Trust me, you don't know me well. What is it?
It's the combined word.
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah,
know why.
that's an interesting one.
It's just come out of me.
Oh, I'm definitely going to be using that one.
Please take it, use it, spread it. We
Yeah,
love it.
the next FCSI event, I'm going to actually try to get that into the script somehow.
I love it.
Yeah,
And then I'll standing
yeah, yeah.
ovation for that one.
Thanks for the.
No problem. Anytime.
Yeah, that'd be great. You'll
Happens a
know
lot when I'm
that'll be the
driving.
secret. That's right. Oh, that's a great one. I've never
Yeah.
heard that one either. Would you rather know all the secrets to space or secrets to the ocean?
Oh wow. I think I'd say the ocean. Weirdly,
Okay.
like the ocean is fascinating to me. There's too much going on down there.
Yeah,
And I feel like
I
we should
agree.
probably figure this planet out before we keep moving.
That's right. I agree with that. Would you rather never do laundry again
Hmm,
or never have to do dishes again?
interesting. I'm gonna say never do laundry because we know from previous answers I don't typically have too many dishes in my home. So
Yeah. Paper
definitely have
plates
a
are
lot
not
of
hard to
laundry.
paper plates are not
Exactly.
hard, and to go containers are not hard to clean. I
Exactly.
agree.
And like I said,
Would
I end up in a dish pit every once in a while anyway, so I'm putting in my time.
would you rather go backstage with your favorite band
Hmm,
or be an extra on your favorite TV show?
that's hard. I feel like I'd say extra on a TV show because then it's like recorded in history. I have like that memory forever. But I
Yeah.
also kind of hate that concept. It's such a modern concept that it's like, I love this moment. Let me take a picture of it instead of being here and enjoying it. So maybe almost to like push myself to be more present, I might say the band one. Have a real
And which
experience and a real
and
memory.
what band would you be seeing?
Oh, that's so hard. My favorite artist is Ellie Goulding, not a
Okay.
band.
That's all right.
I would maybe say Ellie Goulding. Or
Okay.
if I'm honest, my other favorite artist is Ludacris. Very similar, very similar artist. I think
Yeah.
going backstage at a Ludacris concert would be pretty exciting.
I think it would be definitely you would want to remember those me. I
Oh yeah,
think those memories would be want to be documented somehow, I think on a Ludacris
absolutely.
concert. Would you rather have a personal housekeeper or a personal chef?
Chef.
Yeah, I can.
Absolutely.
As I was reading the
Absolutely.
question, I'm like, well, this is dumb. I already know the answer to this one for her.
Well, it's funny getting to know each other and then you have the answers to some of the questions.
Exactly.
But that's
Would
always
you?
been the thing. My partner cooks. I will clean everything up, make a mess. I'll clean it up, but I'm not touching the prep of the cook. But it's a perfect balance that we
So
maintain.
does your partner cook though?
Yeah, he's a
They're a good
fantastic cook.
cook.
Hmm.
Okay, so you have that going for you at least. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
not,
it's great.
at least something's being made. That's
Exactly,
good.
exactly. The kitchen is being used, not by me, but
Okay, very good. Would you rather have the annoying song stuck in your head all day, or always have an itch that you can't reach?
the song. I already always have a song, some sort of song playing in my head, and the itch. That sounds insane. Like I
I
ski a
agree.
lot, and that thing when you're skiing, when you have like 9 layers of clothing and an itch underneath, and you just can't get to it, is like
It's
drives
the
me
worst.
crazy.
I
And
agree.
while that's happening, I still have the song in my head, and the song doesn't bother me. So,
And I'm trying to come up with a song that had itch in it, but I don't have anything in me. So sorry.
oh,
Um,
well, that's good. That would be a
that'd be a
unappealing song
exactly
content.
make you, a song stuck in your head, making you think of the itch that you can't reach. That'd
Oh,
be
that's meta.
terrible.
That's not good.
Yeah. The last one would you rather give up your cell phone for a month or give up bathing for a month?
Oh my goodness. I hate to admit that I am a prolific phone user and not a prolific bather. So this one is definitely pushed in the direction of bathing.
You give up bathing for a month?
Absolutely.
Well,
And it's funny because my everybody knows this, like my sister and her partner. You can make bets on how long it's been since like either of them have showered, and it's typically if you guess under 2 weeks, you're already wrong. You're already wrong. So I always look good in the
oh,
family. I can
you're
I
yeah.
can take a couple of days and it's like you look great.
I can't wait to send this episode to your sister. Well, before we let you go, let's talk a little bit more about how people can find out more about you and Real Food.
Yeah, that would be great. So Real Food Hospitality Strategy and Design is the name of our firm. We're located in the Boston area, but we do projects all over the country, all over the world. Our parent company, Troon, is based in Scottsdale, so we do a lot of work around that area as well. Our website is rfhsd.com, as in Real Food Hospitality Strategy and Design. And my email is jessicag@rfhsd.com if you want to email me directly. Always love to
Great.
talk, always love new projects. And thanks again, Wade. This was so much fun. I really appreciate the
Absolutely.
opportunity to connect with you all.
Well, that wraps up this edition of On Tap presented by FCSI The Americas. A special thank you to our guest, Jessica, for joining us today. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to like and subscribe to our channel, and also help us out by sharing these episodes on your social media feeds. Until our next episode, cheers.